New intro. So much love and appreciation to those of you who have been with me for the 2 year period plus that I've been doing this. Thank you for showing your love and support to the channel. And to anybody else who is brand new to the platform and you would like to support the channel, also you can do it by way of Patreon, Anchor, the clothing store, and also the shoe shop that is listed in the comment description below. And again, thank you to any and all of you guys who have been here to support this channel during the 2+ year period. I wouldn't be able to do what I do every single day without you.
Hear me clearly. America is not a racist country.
We need to address, well, first of all, no, I don't think America is a racist country.
A Virginian man was sentenced on Friday, August 20th to 18 months in federal prison after he brought a burning cross into a black family's yard last year. James Brown, 41 years of age, from Marion, pled guilty in April to criminal interference with federally protected housing rights based upon a victim's race. Quote, when Brown burned a cross in the victim's front yard, he carried out a despicable act of intimidation, interfered with a federally protected housing right, and broke a serious federal law. Today's sentencing demonstrates that such threatening acts of hatred will be swiftly investigated and prosecuted. We would like to thank the FBI and state partners for their hard work on the important case. In the morning hours of June 14, 2020, a black family found a burning cross in their front yard. The day prior, one member of the family, then 17-year-old Trayvon Brown, had organized a civil rights protest at Marion in the aftermath of George Floyd's death. The teen's mom, Bridget Thomas, feared that the house was on fire at first. Neighbors then told investigators that they had seen a, quote, white skinny man walking away from the fire into a home across the street. Brown reportedly ran across the street as the cross burned and offered help to the family, although it will later be revealed that he was the one who set the cross on fire. A series of conflicts between Brown and the family allegedly preceded the incident. Police arrived and used a fire extinguisher to put out the blaze and found that two pieces of wood had been screwed together to form a cross, which was propped up on a barrel. Neighbors stated that Brown had previously talked about burning crosses and spoke about black people in a derogatory manner. He also told a neighbor after the incident, quote, I did it, and laughed, calling the family a racial slur when someone asked him about the fire. He was arrested 12 days later. Brown was previously indicted by a grand jury on charges of making false statements, interfering with housing rights, using fire in violation of federal law, and unlawfully possessing a weapon. He faced a maximum of 10 years in prison. Quote, we have zero tolerance in our communities for those individuals violating anyone's civil rights. Investigating allegations of civil rights violations continues to be our top priority for the FBI, and through our community liaison and law enforcement partnerships, we will continue to investigate and mitigate the unwanted and unwarranted behavior of racially motivated individuals. And that was stated by Special Agent in Charge Stanley M. Meador, who also stated that FBI Richmond encourages anyone who may have knowledge or is a victim of a hate crime to report it to law enforcement. And this story has been brought to you by racism. Racism is accepted wherever true Americans are.
Perfect.
Now, this is the type of trickery that they like to play, right? You have these same individuals that like to say, oh, you know, racism doesn't exist. I'm not a racist. I'm not this. I'm not that. I got a cat that's black, a dog that's black, a car that's black. The inside of my house in certain areas is black. My best friend is black. My coworker is black. The mailman is black. The UPS driver is black. I got mixed grandbabies, black grandbabies, a black husband or a black wife, a black daughter, black son, or I got black somewhere in my family thanks to whatever slave master was there. It's like, you know what, every single thing, every single time they happen to show up, they'll always state that they got something or somebody black, right? Every single time they close their eyes, they see somebody black. But guess what? They love the night, but they just don't love you. And that's clearly what James Brown, age 41, is saying to the black family that was across the street. And note, James was the exact same person that set the fire and then decided to run across the street and then come back out trying to help them look for whoever the suspect was. You see how they like to play those games? You see how that works out? But then you'll have, black people who are, in the upper tier that will decide to say that, oh, there's no such thing as racism. There's no such thing as this or that. It's all in your imagination. Just pull yourselves up by your bootstraps, right? and they'll decide to state that, oh, I went to school and nobody, Caucasian ever held me back, nobody ever stopped me from upgrading my education, from getting this house, from getting this car. They always want to sit up there and try to make it seem like these things just never existed, that these things are not present, like these things just aren't persistent, as if these aren't values, right, that are commonly taught and given to young true American kids in order to hold on to as the past dies off and as they, the future, ride on, right? To continue on that same lineage, to continue on that same bloodline, to continue on the same thought process, to continue on and carry those same ideals. Those are the exact same individuals who run corporate America, who run banks, who do things with housing, who run the school system, who do things in the medical field, who do things with the police, the EMS, the firefighters, the military, the government in general. Like I said, these are the exact same people, but they'll try to make it seem as though that these people don't exist. See how that works? And these are the same individuals who will sit up there and tell people that, oh, there's no reason to do critical race, thinking, directly in schools. The past is the past, and we're in the present. Let's focus on now. Let's focus on what we are doing at this moment in time. Have I ever owned any slaves? Do I own any slaves? Do I look like a slave master? Were you a slave? Do anybody that were they ever slaves? Were you ever born on a plantation? They always want to play these semantics. They always want to do this back and forth, type of dance. And the funniest thing is, the young man who ended up having a cross burned directly in front of his home, he was, as they stated in the article, he was going to get together a group of people to, do a peaceful protest, for George Floyd. And obviously, James did not like the thought of that. He wanted to intimidate the neighbors. He wanted to intimidate the son. And he wanted to make sure that none of this would ever transpire in his neighborhood. On top of the fact that further shows that he is a racist, he decided to use a racial slur towards the black family. So like I said, nobody's going to tell me that racism doesn't exist, that it is not a persistent thing within the fabric of America, because it is what made America what it is to this day. Racism, slavery, and everything else in between made America what it is to this day. But like I said before, in order to acknowledge that, you also have to acknowledge all of the horrors and the atrocities that specifically took place to the African American people, to the indigenous people of this continent. And that's something that they don't want to go into. That's something that they don't want to shine a light or burn a candle to at all. They don't want to do it, because then it will show the world specifically and exactly who they are. And that's not something they're ready to do. They'll be the heroes and the villains in whatever movies and whatever stories that they tell. But when it comes to reality, they refuse to do the exact same things that they act out in the movies, in their screenplays, and in their TV shows. But anyways, let me know what you guys think about this video and everything that I listed in the comment description below. And as always, peace, love, and stay tuned for the next video.